Well, hi there, food friends. It's Kevin.
And Marianne behind the camera.
And welcome to Cavalcade of Food. And you know what, sis?
What?
Today, we are making sugar cookies. Not sugar kisses, sugar cookies, okay?
Okay.
And you know what got me thinking about this? So, okay, a little technical snafu there, it happens. Anyways, you know what got me thinking about this, Mare, was when we were at that church rummage sale the other day.
Yeah?
And I didn't buy them, but do you remember they had all those old cookie cutters?
Yes, I do.
And it got me thinking about how we really like sugar cookies, and we tend to only make them at Christmas time.
Yes.
Because, you know, I think a lot of the cookie cutters are Christmas themed, at least the ones that we have. But they had ones at the sale that were not necessarily for Christmas. They were just, you know, other shapes. And I thought, boy, haven't made Christmas cookies in a while, and we didn't make them last year for Christmas, did we?
No, we did not.
So you know what? We're making them now.
Okay.
So, of course, these are very much a tradition for people during the holidays, but you don't have to make them during the holidays. You can make them whenever, and that's what we're doing. So, pretty simple recipe. Mary, I've pulled out one of my old Sunbeam Mix Masters to help us with the job here. And we're going to start with 2/3 of a cup of butter. Okay? And then I've got 3/4 of a cup of sugar. And we're going to put a teaspoon of vanilla in here. Now, I will tell you, I'm just eyeballing it. You don't have to use vanilla here. You could use, what else could you use, Mary?
Almond.
Almond extract.
Lemon.
Lemon.
Orange.
Yep. Yeah, actually there's a lot of possibilities here. Okay. There we go. So Mary, I don't know if you can see what's going on down here. We've got our butter and sugar, and we are creaming them together.
And vanilla.
And vanilla. And again, you mentioned some good alternatives, but we want to get this creamed up here. Have your butter at room temperature. And there we go. You know, I like these old Mix Masters because the bowl turns and beaters turn. The beaters actually turn the bowl. Okay. You know, notice here, Mira, we'll show our friends how the beaters are not the same. One is sort of rectangular shaped, and the other is sort of cone shaped. Can you see that? How this one is rounded.
Yeah.
How the beaters taper down. And at the very bottom here, there's a little nylon, you probably can't see it, but there's a little nylon button. And that presses on the bottom of the bowl. So when the beaters turn, that nylon button spins around and turns the glass bowl. Pretty cool idea, huh?
Yes,
All right.
it is.
So now, let's put in our egg. And we will get that our creaming. We're going to beat this egg up until it's all nicely incorporated, and we want fluffy, okay? So we'll come on back when this baby's ready to go. Mirror, so pretty fluffy, I would say. Now I've got 4 teaspoons of milk here. We're going to put the milk in the mix. And remember, we kind of scrape as we go. I'm going to stir this milk in. my dry ingredients, we want to sift these together. And I'm going to just do it this way. So I have got here 2 cups of just regular all-purpose flour. Okay? To that, I'm going to add 1.5 teaspoons of baking powder. So let's do that. Teaspoon and a half of baking powder. And we need just a little salt, Mayor, 1/4 teaspoon of salt. So we'll put in 1/4 teaspoon of salt. Then we want to sift these things together. And take a look here, Mayor. You see how, the flour, when you buy it, it says pre-sifted on the package. But over time, and I think in, probably transporting and things like that, sometimes you get a few clumps in there. All right. So now what I'm going to do is we're going to gradually, add this in low speed. Put this into our cream mixture. So a pretty simple recipe. So we're all mixed up, and I'm just cleaning these beaters off. So what you can expect is a fairly thick dough here with the sugar cookie. And what we need to do, Mayor, before we do the next step, which is to roll it out and cut it into our shapes, is this dough needs to chill out for a bit. So it should chill for at least an hour in the fridge. And what I'm going to do is divide it in half, make essentially two batches, and then put it in the fridge. So when you're cleaning these beaters off on these old Mix Masters, if you have a glass bowl, don't do this. You know how many of these bowls I've seen at thrift shops and other things, and guess what? They're all chipped. And you know why? Because somebody banged the beaters, and I know, if you've got a metal bowl, you can do that, but not a glass bowl. So don't. One of our viewers got on me about banging the bowl, not this beater bowl, but another bowl. And so with glass, you really don't want to do that. All right, I'm going to take this big hunk here. We're going to kind of put it together. And I've got some plastic wrap ready to go. And we will just wrap it up because you don't want it to dry out. And then we'll get the rest of this here. And I'm going to put this in the fridge for an hour. And then in the meantime, I'll get cleaned up and we get our baking pans. You want to preheat your oven to 375 degrees, Mare.
Okay.
And then I'm going to use a couple of parchment lined baking sheets to do the baking. There we go. All right, Mary, I'm just getting a little flour on my board here and on my rolling pin. It's been a little over an hour. I've got one of our dough halves here, and we're going to roll this out. We want to roll it out, no more than about 1/8 of an inch in terms of thickness, okay? So we're just going to work this here. Want to make sure your rolling pin. I usually use a cloth on my rolling pin, but of course, do you think I have one here?
No.
No. Okay. But we can fake it here. Ooh, you can smell the vanilla. All right. So now I've got some shapes here. Is there anything that turns you on?
I like the windmill.
The windmill. Okay, that's a big one. It helps to dip these in a little flour first. And then we will press it out. And put it there. And maybe we'll do a couple of diamond shaped. What? Oh, shucks. All right, let's try it again. There we go. And another one. Very good. How about a little Scotty dog? We like him. So the oven is preheated to 375 degrees. Look at him. How about a flour? Do a little flour power. Well, that didn't come out very well. Try another one. There we go. So I'm going to keep cutting these little shapes out, Mare, and until all the dough is used up. So all these little scraps I'll re-roll until we get them all cut out, okay? Okay, so Mare, now we can do whatever we want to do in terms of decorating. Now, of course, they make all kinds of colored sugar that you can sprinkle on the top of it before you bake. You see here I got some fun little sprinkles. I'm gonna kind of they roll in. I give them a little press into the dough. Helps kind of keep them in place. The other thing you can do is, if you don't want to decorate them before you bake, you can just put a glaze, make a glaze for them afterwards. You know, a little powdered sugar,
yeah,
and water or milk. So I'm just gonna.
And then you can even color the glaze too with different food coloring.
Yes, that's right. So you can get as elaborate or or plain as you want. Now here I've got some kind of chunky sugar. I'm going to do this one with just, I didn't have any of the colored sugar, but I'm just going to put a little of this. This is an organic cane sugar on the top. I think sort of makes it sanded a little bit. Okay, there we go. So we got some with little sprinkles and some with sugar. These are going to bake for about 8 minutes or so at 375 degrees. And you want them so that they're just sort of brown around the edges. All right. Let's put this here. All right. So I had them in for probably more like 10 minutes. I like them to get brown just sort of around the edge. You see that, Mare?
Yeah.
These aren't cookies that get dark or golden on the top because they're on the thinner side. But we're going to transform over. See the bottom? Isn't that nice?
Yeah.
That's what you want right there. Whoops, right there. And we're going to let these cool. And they will harden up a little bit. You know, these are more of a crunchy, crispy cookie as opposed to like a soft and a chewy cookie.
Yeah.
And again, if you didn't sugar them or sprinkle them or whatever before they went into the oven, you would want them to really cool completely before you did anything. You know, I think the windmill Mare looks a little bit like a bunny rabbit.
It does.
Kinda, with the ears. Yeah, I don't think you'd know that that's what it was, but it was a fun kind of a cookie cutter anyways. So sometimes shapes are a little too elaborate, like the fleur-de-lis kind of looks like a bird. But you know, they make cookie cutters in just an infinite number of designs. Sometimes they translate well, like a heart, a diamond, you know, a flower, a cross. You know what those things are. But here, does that really look like a windmill?
Not really.
Not really, but if you say it is. Anyways, so I kind of want to try one of these. How about, I like this little Scotty dog right here. So you see the back of it is nice and golden brown.
Yeah.
And this is one that we just sort of sprinkled with that cane sugar. Yep. Very buttery. You get the vanilla. Really makes you think of Christmas time, because that's often when we have these. A nice cookie with tea or coffee. Light. You know, it's a thin cookie. Yeah. Really nice. I know you'll want to sample, Mare, so anyways, there'll be plenty. This batch made, well, how many do we have here, Mare?
We had 28.
28 on the first batch, and I've got enough for probably another dozen, I would say, in terms of leftover dough that I need to re-roll and cut out. So let's call it 3 dozen plus for the recipe. So, and two, it depends on what size shapes you cut out. Yeah. You know, if you're doing these big windmills like this, you're not going to get as many because they're large. If you're doing little Scotty dogs and diamonds and things like that, yep, you'll get more. So anyways, thanks for hanging out with us, food friends, and remember the website is cavalcadeoffood.com. The recipe is in the description below the video. I want to say thanks to my sister.
You're welcome.
For working the video. Appreciate it, honey. And we hope to see all of our food friends again real soon, right back here on Cavalcade of Food. Bye, everybody.
Bye.